جاتی ہے ماں، کیوں چھوڑ جاتی ہے ماں؟ 3 سالوں میں اماں، 3 سالوں میں اماں، تم نے بہت کچھ، تم نے بہت کچھ سکھایا، ماں سے بچھڑ کے جیتے ہیں کیسے، کیا یہ سکھاتی ہے ماں؟ کیوں چھوڑ جاتی ہے ماں، کیوں چھوڑ جاتی ہے ماں، کیوں چھوڑ جاتی ماں کا جنازہ، رخ سے کفن جب ہٹایا، شبیر نے ماں سے پوچھا، زیرے کفن بھی آواز سن کر آنسو بہاتی ہے ماں، کیوں چھوڑ جاتی 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 ہے ماں؟ درود محمد وعلی محمد، بلندتر صلوات۔ Now I request Maulana Shabir, Sayyid Shabir Abdi to come to the member Imam Hussain. Salawat. درود محمد وعلی محمد، بلندتر صلوات۔
لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. لقد جاءت رسل ربنا بالحق، الصلاة والسلام على جميع الأنبياء والمرسلين، خاتم النبيين، شفيع المذنبين، رحمة للعالمين، طه وياسين، سيدنا ونبينا حبيبنا وطبيب نفوسنا، على النبي الأمي البدر الجلي الكوكب الدري البشير والنظير، الرسول المسدد العشير الممجد المصطفى الأمجد، حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم محمد، وعلى إمام المطهر والشجاع الغزنفر، قاسم طوبى وسقر، أبي شبير وشبر، قالع باب خيبر، حامل اللواء الحمد يوم المحشر، مظهر العجائب ومظهر الغرائب، الذي حبه فرض على الحاضر والغائب، إمام المشرقين وإمام المغربين، سيد الكون سبحانه تبارك وتعالى في محكم كتابه الكريم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وإذ قالت الملائكة يا مريم إن الله اصطفاك وطهرك واصطفاك على نساء العالمين. صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوات. The past 2 nights and this night, my goal was to present to you the fadail of Sayyidatun Nisa'il Alameen, Salamullahi alayha, to understand the maqam that Allah has bestowed on her, the fadail commemoration of the Shahada. That is why it was very essential to look at her creation and the virtues in the light of Quran. And we used Maryam bint Imran salamullahi alayha as a lens to understand the daughter of the Prophet. Because Allah made Maryam bint Imran an example of modesty, an example of chastity, an example for all the women of what a woman is supposed to and what qualities that she should reflect, what strength she must reflect to face the world. And Maryam bint Imran is a prime example for all the women. Indeed, Quran in a very indirect way describes Ahl al-Bayt. And that is the beauty of Islam. And that is the beauty of Quran. Why does Quran not mention Ahl al-Bayt very openly? Of course, there is a verse in Quran that mentions the word Ahl al-Bayt. But when we also use Quran to mention Ahl al-Bayt with various ayahs, we don't see the names of Ahl al-Bayt in it, but there is a reference to Ahl al-Bayt in it. Why? It shows the maqam, the position of Ahl al-Bayt in the eyes of Allah. They are like the hidden treasure. When you go on a treasure hunt, do you know the location? You don't know the location. That is why it's called treasure hunt. All you know is you have a map. You have to connect the dots. Each puzzle you solve leads to the other. One by one, you find clues. Eventually, you find the treasure. Ahl al-Bayt are those hidden treasures of Allah. Yet they lived amongst us 1400 years ago. But when it comes to finding Ahl al-Bayt in Quran, Allah gives you clues. And there are not riddles. There are clues and clear clues. Although there are clues, but they are very evident. They are very clear. There is no ambiguity in finding. Allah intends the believers to find that truth, to find haqq by following the clues that He has left in Quran. Therefore, that is how Ahl al-Bayt, that is how we reach Ahl al-Bayt. Of course, our Ayam alayhi salam, they pointed out the ayah that referenced Ahl al-Bayt. That is why we use Maryam bint Imran as an example to understand the mistress of Maryam bint Imran, the one who is greater than Maryam bint Imran. In the past two Majlis, we spoke about the birth of Maryam. We spoke about how the mihrab would be enlightened from her nur when she stood to pray, to glorify Allah. We also discussed how Allah sent food from the heaven. And then we saw how Allah gave the similar fadail to Fatima Zahra salamullahi alayha. But they were no short of magnitude. Their magnitude is even higher than the fadail of Maryam. Although they look similar, but in intensity, they are at the peak, Allah blessed Maryam bint Imran with one son, but He did not give her a husband because there was no match. She had no match in her time. There was no one that could marry Maryam bint Imran. That's Rasulullah says, Ya Ali, you are like Suratul Ikhlas in this ummah. That means you are unique in this ummah, like the surah is unique in the whole Quran. If there was no Ali ibn Abi Talib in this ummah, then there wouldn't have been a husband for Fatima az-Zahra salamullahi alayha. The perfect couple. Allah gave one son to Maryam. Allah blessed her with 11 sons. And her father is the one who led. And his last successor is the one when he will arrive. Allah describes the family is from the family of Ibrahim. And it doesn't end there. Angel sends message of Allah, gives her the glad tidings. Ya Maryamu, inna Allah astafaki wa taharraki wa astafaki ala nisa'il alameen. They purified you. Look at the purification of Ahl al-Bayt. إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. See, when the angels were relaying the message of the purification of Maryam, they were looking at them. They were looking at her. She was looking at the angels. But what happens when the ayah tathir is revealed? Before the ayah tathir is revealed, the Ahl al-Bayt have gathered under the cloak, the kisa. And remember, the Ahl al-Bayt are anwar, they are the lights. They were created from lights. And now all Ahl al-Bayt are assembled under the cloak. What happens? This is the moment that Allah says, I did not create the sun, the moon, the ship that sails in the water, the stars. I did not create this universe except for those who are under the kisa. And we see at this moment, Jibreel asks Allah, Ya Allah, who are under the kisa? Now I ask you, Jibreel has always brought wahi to this house. This house has the footsteps, the imprint of the foot of Jibreel. Jibreel knows who are in this house. But what exactly happened that Jibreel is asking this question that Allah, who are those? Is Jibreel asking while he still know who they are? Or Jibreel is asking because there happened something that he wants to make sure of by asking Allah and receiving His answer? Indeed, I won't be surprised when Ahl al-Bayt gathered under the kisa. The intensity of the light of the nur of Ahl al-Bayt was such that Jibreel didn't recognize who were under the kisa, and he wanted to be sure. So he asked Allah, Oh Allah, who are those under the kisa? Allah then introduces Jibreel, those who are under the kisa. Allah could have introduced them from His Prophet, His beloved Prophet, His Habib. He could have said, Jibreel, that is my Prophet, his daughter, my brother, my son-in-law, and my two grandsons, my children. But Allah did not use that example. Instead, Allah used Fatima al-Zahra as the example. And He said, Jibreel, that is Fatima wa abuha wa ba'luha wa banuha. That's Fatima and that's her father, that's her husband, and those are two kids that are under the kisab. You see the importance of Fatima al-Zahra. She is the center of Ahl al-Bayt. She is the center of Ahl al-Bayt. And when Allah reveals this ayah of Tahara, He makes Fatima al-Zahra the foundation, the center of Tahara, and introduces this with her. He uses her to say, Jibreel, those that you were asking about are the ones who is the father of my greatest servant, Fatima, her husband and her children. You see the maqam of Fatima al-Zahra. Allah introduces Ahl al-Bayt through Fatima al-Zahra salamullahi alayha. The ayah Tathir descends with the reference to Fatima al-Zahra salamullahi alayha. And Maryam bint Imran, the chosen one. And here we see the Fakhr Maryam salamullahi alayha. Let me describe to you the benevolence of Fatima al-Zahra salamullahi alayha. She lived a very modest life, a very simple life. Now imagine the favors of Allah, the virtues that Allah has bestowed on her. She could have lived a different life, but she instead chose to live a simple life. A very simple life. One day, when Rasulullah Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam I'm hungry, please give me food. He was wearing tattered clothes, torn off clothes. He said, I don't have proper clothes, please give me clothes. Rasulullah says, I don't have anything. And he said, Assalamu alayka ya Ahl Bayt an-Nabuwah. Descend. Sayyidah Fatima responds, Wa alaykum as-salam. Who is at the door? He says, oh, the daughter of Rasulullah, I'm a Bedouin. I am hungry, please give me food. I don't have proper clothes, please give me clothes. She goes in. There is a goat hide on which Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein would sleep. She brings that hide and gave it to this person. He exclaimed, oh, the daughter of Rasulullah, I'm asking you for food. I'm asking you for clothes. And you're giving me this hide. What am I going to do with this hide? And do know that for the past 3 days, Ahl al-Bayt, including Rasulullah, did not have anything to eat. Look at the sense of charity of Ahl al-Bayt. They have nothing to eat, but they are ready to help. They put others before them. They considered their problems smaller than the problems of the rest. In that moment, she takes out the necklace that she was wearing, which was a gift to her from the daughter of Sayyid al-Shuhda Hamza. She gives him her necklace and she says, go sell this necklace. May Allah give you better than this. He takes that necklace, goes to the masjid, informs Rasulullah that your daughter gave me this necklace. She asked me to sell it and find respite. Rasulullah asked, who is going to buy this necklace? Ammar? Ammar asks this Bedouin, brother, what is the price you want to sell this for? He says, oh Ammar, all I want is bread, some meat, and a Yemeni gown to cover myself and to pray and glorify Allah in it, and some money so that I could go meet my family. Ammar goes to his family and Ammar buys that necklace. This person thanks Rasulullah. He says, Ya Rasulullah, I got everything I wanted. Rasulullah says, pray for my daughter. So he says, oh Allah, grant Fatima al-Zahra, the daughter of Rasulullah, your blessings that no eyes have ever seen and no ears have ever heard. And he leaves. Then Ammar takes that necklace, covers it with the Yemeni fabric, and puts musk on it. And he calls his servant. He says, take this necklace and go to Rasulullah. Present it to him along with yourself. You are my slave. Now you are Rasulullah's slave. Take both things, go to Rasulullah and hand it over to him. That means hand over yourself and the necklace. He goes to Rasulullah and says, Ya Rasulullah, this is the message of Ammar. From now on, I'm your slave and this is the necklace of your daughter. Rasulullah says, go to Fatima. Give her the necklace. What is the reason of your laughing? He said, I am laughing at the amazement of this necklace. I'm laughing at this amazement. What is so special about this necklace? That of hunger has been satiated. Person without any clothes receives clothes. A slave is freed. You see the benevolence of Fatima al-Zahra, the sense of charity. Her necklace was so miraculous that it provided food to the hungry, gave clothes to the tattered clothed person, and it also freed a slave. While during this transaction, Ammar takes the virtue of being saved from the fire. Because Rasulullah said, whoever buys this necklace, Allah has saved him. He got the guarantee. Of course, he's the follower of Ahlul Bayt. But during this transaction, that fazila came to Ammar too. That is the sense of charity. And that is what we learn from Fatima al-Zahra salamullahi alayha. Please recite a salawat. Dear brothers and sisters, remembrance of Ahl al-Bayt is dhikr of Allah. This is the form of ibadah, the moment, the time that we spend in this congregation, in this majlis, remembering Ahl al-Bayt is the time that is considered as an ibadah, because nobody gets to Tawheed, nobody gets closer. Describe the fadail, and we describe the oppression that was done on Ahl al-Bayt. There is a reward for men. Now, with this narration, I want to highlight the fazila that we all have received. And what is it? When among your lovers, their existence should feel joy. Imam says, I heard it from my father. He heard it from his father. He heard it from his father. And he heard it from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. That Rasulullah said, on the day of judgment, Allah will gather all the prophets and He will put mimbar, the pulpits for all the prophets. And my pulpit will be the highest of all pulpits. When I go to the pulpit, Allah will command me to give a sermon. And I will give a sermon that no other Nabi has ever heard. Then Allah will put pulpits for the awsiya, the successors of those Anbiya, of all the prophets. And Ali's pulpit will be the unique, it will be the highest of all. And Allah will command Ali ibn Abi Talib to give a sermon. And Ali will give a sermon that no wasi has ever heard. And then Allah will put the pulpits for the children of Anbiya. There will be 2 pulpits higher than the rest. And those 2 are for my children, Hassan and Hussein. And Allah will ask them to give a sermon. They will give a sermon like no other sermon, and a sermon that no children of Anbiya has ever heard. And then there will be a voice calling out, where is Fatima al-Zahra? Where is Khadijat al-Kubra? Where is Maryam bint Imran? Where is Asiya bint Mazahim? Where is the mother of Yahya? All these women were in the Quran that says, لِمَنِ الْمُلْكُ الْيَوْمِ. Who does this sovereignty belong to on this day? This grandeur or sovereignty to, O Ali Muhammad, because you raised my name in the dunya, I grant you the grandeur on the day of Qiyamah, on this day. Allahu Akbar. And then Jibreel, 1,000 angels and 100,000 angels would lift the she-camel. But does she enter Jannah? She stands there. She turns around. She looks at the plains of Mahshar. Allah asks her, I asked you to enter Jannah. What's preventing you from entering it? She says, Ya Allah, indeed you asked me to enter. But I want you to show my greatness today. I want you to highlight the greatness that you bestowed on me today. Allah asks her, what do you want? She says, oh Allah, you asked me, why am I not entering Jannah? And I am looking at the plains of Mahshar. Oh Allah, how can I enter Jannah while those who cried on my son Hussein are still outside, standing in the mahshar. Allah gives her permission to take the lovers of Ahlul Bayt, those who cried over Imam Hussein and Ahlul Bayt, to enter Jannah. Allah asks them, what happened to you that you're not entering paradise? Now they make a demand, similar demand. They say, oh Allah, we want you to show us our greatness today. Display our greatness. Allah knew what they wanted to ask. Allah says, you have the permission to take those and enter paradise, Jannah. And Imam says, whoever believes is granting the shafaat of her and the shafaat of the believers to those who did anything good because they love Fatima al-Zahra. Please recite a salawat. Dear brothers and sisters, this narration is enough to inspire us, to strengthen our belief in Ahlul Bayt, to strengthen our iman and ma'rifah of Ahlul Bayt, because this tells us on what path we are walking. This is the house of Ahlul Bayt that Allah has elevated. She was like Rasulullah. Her walk was like Rasulullah. She looked like Rasulullah. Can you imagine Ahlul Bayt after losing Rasulullah? They would look at Sayyidah Fatima al-Zahra because she was the remnant of Rasulullah. She was the image of Rasulullah. But when Fatima al-Zahra passes away, imagine the pain that is now revived, the pain of losing Rasulullah. It is now revived again. And we find the words of Sayyidah Kulthum. She calls out, she says, Ya Rasulullah, we have lost you again and there's no meeting with you at all. That means once we lost our mother, we lost you again because she was the image of yours. She passed away. The Medina is in chaos. People are crying that the daughter of Rasulullah has left this world. They all came to go and tell people that the funeral has been delayed, so you can go back to your houses. Abu Zar comes out and he says, oh people, go to your house because the funeral has been delayed. People leaves that place. The night arrives, the night where everybody went to sleep except the children of Fatima al-Zahra and Amir al-Mu'mineen and the few lovers of Ahlul Bayt in the house. And this is the moment where Amir al-Mu'mineen gives this ghusl to Janab Sayyidah, and he puts a hunud, the kafur that was brought from the heavens, and Amir al-Mu'mineen shrouds Fatima al-Zahra. But do you know, if you remember yesterday I mentioned that Fatima al-Zahra took a bath and wore new clothes before she passed away. Do you think why did she do this? The scholars mention one reason, and that reason is that she was badly wounded, that she wanted to hide the wounds and the blood and the pus from her clothes. She did not want her family to see her state, and that's why she changed her clothes to avoid them from seeing that. And hence when Fatima al-Zahra She made a will that, Ya Ali, wash me in my clothes and put the kafur that was brought by Jibreel from the heavens. Amir al-Mu'mineen fulfills her wish and fulfills her wasiyah. Now, at one point, Amir al-Mu'mineen, while giving her ghusl, he goes to the side and he cries out loud. When asked, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, what made you cry this loud? Amir al-Mu'mineen says, when I was giving ghusl to Sayyidah, I saw her broken ribs, but she never complained to me about the pain. And Amir al-Mu'mineen cries because it really hits him hard. And now that Amir al-Mu'mineen has prepared the janazah, he puts the shroud on, and before he ties the shroud, he calls, Ya Hassan, Ya Hussein, Ya Zainab, Ya Kulsum, come see your mother for the final farewell. The children comes around her and they call out, Ya mother, when you go to Rasulullah, send our final salams to Rasulullah. It is narrated that Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein goes closer and they hug their mother. Amir al-Mu'mineen says that I saw that Fatima al-Zahra takes her hands out of the shroud and she hugs Hassan and Hussein, and I heard her sorrowful voice. I still remember when they were crying, hugging their mother. I heard angels says, Ya Ali, the inhabitants of the heavens are crying. They cannot bear this scene. Ya Ali, please remove Hassan and Hussein. Nobody knows where it was made. Look at how she was oppressed, that nobody knew where she was buried. Even to this day, we don't know. And this is what Allah has willed, so that people can understand by finding her grave that she was a victim of the oppression of this ummah. Amir al-Mu'mineen puts her in the grave and puts her cheek on the earth, and she says, O earth, I am entrusting you the trust that was given to me. Please take care of her. And he says, Bismillah wa billah ala millati Rasulallah Muhammad ibn Abdullah. I am handing over you to the one that deserves you more than me. And Amir al-Mu'mineen buries her. Please know that Amir al-Mu'mineen, the only time we see him break down is when he comes to the home and he reaches to the lifeless body of Fatima al-Zahra. He removed his amama, he removed his abba, and that's the time we saw him cry. And the second time we saw him cry was when he was giving ghusl to Janab Sayyidah, and Amir al-Mu'mineen is busy in the affairs of the funeral. We don't see him breaking down at any point, but now that he has buried the love of his life, Amir al-Mu'mineen, who has been keeping himself together, he's been holding himself together for this long, when he no longer sees the love of his life, he breaks down. He says, Assalamu alayka ya Rasulallah, ya Rasulallah, salam on you from me and Fatima al-Zahra, who just became your neighbor. Ya Rasulallah, Fatima was taken away from me. Ya Rasulallah, I had patience when you passed away, but Ya Rasulallah, the patience I have now I am losing with the loss of Fatima al-Zahra. Ya Rasulallah, my nights are sleepless nights from now on. My days are restless days from am the one. There is no pleasure in the dunya after Fatima az-Zahra. Ya Rasulallah, if you ask Fatima, she will tell you the atrocities that befell on her. She will tell you the pain she endured from this ummah. She will complain to you what went with her after you left. Ya Rasulallah, if it wasn't for the usurping and the oppressive people of this ummah, I would have come to your qabr, I would have come to your grave, and I would have spent my nights and days crying like the mother who cries for her young son. Ya Rasulallah, may Allah send peace and blessings on you, and may Allah send peace and blessings on Fatima az-Zahra. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. فَسَيَعْلَمُ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا أَيَّامَ
گھر کو جلانے آئے ہیں، جس کے گھر میں قرآن آیا ہے، ہے بات رسول امت نے فاطمہ کو بہت ستایا ہے بات رسول امت نے فاطمہ کو بہت ستایا ہے۔ گھر دربار میں مسلمان دونوں جھٹلا دیے ہیں لال اس کے، جانے کیسا سلوک کر ڈالا، پل میں ہو گئے سفید بال اس کے، گر کے بے ہوش ہو گئی زہرا، حال زینب کو جب سنایا ہے بات رسول امت نے فاطمہ کو بہت ستایا ہے بات رسول امت نے فاطمہ کو بہت ستایا ہے۔ تیری ہمت کا نام ہے زینب اور شبیر ہے صبر تیرا، تیرے آنسو سجاد کے آنسو اور سکینہ میں ہے اثر تیرا، تیرے بچوں نے بی بی تیری طرح ظلم سہ کے یتیم بچایا ہے بات رسول امت نے فاطمہ کو بہت ستایا ہے بات رسول امت نے یا حسین 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 یا حسین۔ دیکھ کر زہرا کو زخمی مرتضیٰ روتے رہے، 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 دیکھ کر زہرا کو زخمی۔ غربت حیدر پہ سارے، غربت حیدر پہ سارے انبیاء روتے رہے، دیکھ کر زہرا کو زخمی مرتضیٰ روتے رہے، دیکھ کر زہرا کو زخمی مرتضیٰ روتے رہے، دیکھ کر زہرا کو زخمی۔ در جلایا سیدہ کا آ کے گستاخوں نے جب، در جلا راستا ظلم یہ ایسا ہوا، دیکھ کر معصوم چھپاتی تھی علی سے سیدہ، تھی علی سے سیدہ، جان کے شیر خدا یہ، جان کے شیر خدا یہ پارہا روتے رہے، دیکھ کر زہرا کو زخمی مرتضیٰ روتے رہے، دیکھ کر زہرا کو زخمی مرتضیٰ روتے رہے، دیکھ کر زہرا کو زخمی۔ سانس بھی مشکل سے لیتی تھی نبی کی لاڈلی، پسلیاں ٹوٹی ہوئی تھی ہاتھ بھی ٹوٹا ہوا، پسلیاں ٹوٹی ہوئی تھی ہاتھ بھی ٹوٹا ہوا، درد خود زہرا کو ظاہر، درد خود زہرا کو ظاہر، باخدا روتے رہے، دیکھ کر زہرا کو زخمی مرتضیٰ روتے رہے، دیکھ کر زہرا کو زخمی۔ سلم دار ابا سلم دار ابا سلم دار ابا سلم دار سلم دار ابا سلم دار، اے فوج حسینی کے علمدار علمدار، ابا سلم دار ابا سلم دار ابا سلم دار، محمد وآل محمد صلوات۔
السلام علیک یا ابا عبداللہ، السلام علیک یا ابن رسول اللہ، السلام علیک یا ثار الشہداء کربلا، خصوصاً سیدی و مولاي ابا الفضل العباس یا ابن امیر المؤمنین، السلام علیکم جميعا ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ۔ السلام عليك يا غريب الغرباء، السلام عليك يا معين الضعفاء والفقراء، السلطان يا أبا الحسن يا علي بن موسى أيها الرضا، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته، السلام عليك يا آل محمد صلى الله عليه وآله، السلام عليك وجعلنا من أعوانك وأنصارك ورحمة الله وبركاته۔
We have today we have inshallah tabarruk to go, and Imamia on behalf of